Hey everybody, welcome to another coffee lounge talk on Sunday. Do you have your coffee? See what it says? Grow through what you go through. Grow through what you go through. So in life, there will be a lot of different things that you will go through. So in this channel, we talk about separation and divorce. After that, how to rebuild your life, right? Look at this. Coffee. Christ offers forgiveness for everyone, everywhere. So now you don't have to be Christian to watch these videos. I tell you guys that I became Christian, and though I'm Christian, I'm actually a non-traditional Christian. So if you have any question, you can ask me about it in the comments. I will explain it to you. What I mean by that, on a high level, I don't try to convert other people. I feel that everybody has faith is very personal. So many things influence us, including our culture, how we grew up, and things like that. I grew up in India half of my life, and the rest of my life I have been here. So, half and half so far. So the way I look at faith and how my life has transformed, I cannot. I don't know how to explain it. So I tell you guys that 3 years ago, somebody told me that I'll be Christian. I'll be like, what are you talking about, right? So the God had a different plan for me, and everything came together in a way that it is unexplainable. I had so many things that happened in my life that is how I became Christian. And I read Bible verses, especially in these episodes. I take one or two verses and then I relate this with my personal life and what is going on right now. And then I also encourage you guys to share it in the comment section, because you never know whose life is going to change from seeing your comment, because we are in this world as 8 billion people, as one big happy family. Now I know life is not always happy, but we gotta, whatever we focus on magnifies, right? So you gotta focus on the inner coach, not the inner critic, right? So inner coach is where there are two voices in our head, right? The positive voice and the negative voice. So the positive voice is what you want to magnify, right? So anything that makes you happy and generous, kind, and all of that, right? That's what you want to focus more on, because that will make you feel good. Because the deepest part of, no matter what religion you follow, right? The deepest part of ourselves is the soul. There is mind, there is body, and there is soul. Our soul is all good. It wants to feel good. It wants to feel kind. It wants to feel generous. And that is when you feel that our mind feels calm, it is at ease. Because when the inner critic takes over, in Christianity, it's sort of like the devil. There is stress, there is anxiety, and all of that. So which is why you want to focus on the inner coach. So today's verse is 1 Corinthians 13:13. Today's verse is 1 Corinthians 13:13. And I cannot tell you guys, you call it synchronicity, you call it God's sign. There is so many ways in so many places. I have seen that in the last week or so, at least 3 different places, maybe 4. And that is why I figured that, okay, I need to make an episode about it. So the verse says, now faith, hope, and love remain. Now faith, hope, and love remain. These 3. But the greatest of this is love. There are a few. I will tell you how I came across that. I started going to a new church, and the sermon, it referred this verse from the week prior, and then I looked up. But before that, I was at my friend's place on the last weekend, and she had a book. Through that book, the same author had another book, which I bought for my research, because I read like 20. I'm right now reading 20 or 25 books for my next book 4, because, authors, they read lots of books when they write books as part of the research. And that book had that, 1 Corinthians 13:13. And there were a couple other areas. So anyway, without going further on that path, because a lot of time that's how I come up with this episode, is like the synchronicity that happens. I keep seeing the same thing multiple places, and then I'm like, okay, God is telling me to do that. So anyway, so how do I relate this with my life? So it was last week, my daughter, she had some performance, like singing performance at her after school. And it was Friday actually. And today, when I'm filming this is today's Thursday, but you guys will see it a week from now. Because sometimes I try to film them in advance so that last minute there is no rush and where I have the episodes ready. So anyway, so I was at my friend's place that day. Her dad was supposed to pick her up because with, co-parenting, you guys know what happens. Sometimes in different places, different people have different ways. In our case, she stays half with me and half with her dad. Anyway, long story short, she had some stage fright. And later I heard that she did not have the wordings in front of her, so she kind of got nervous because she forgot the wordings. And later on, she was I think she was feeling bad about it. So I heard it from a teacher, and it was so nice of the teacher to let me know. And so it was about a couple months ago, she had a dance performance at her regular school, and she was getting a little nervous. So I told her that time that, she was nervous that what if she forgets her steps? I said, it's okay if you forget the steps. It doesn't have to be perfect. So she's like, okay. So that her anxiety came down a little bit. And then she a little later, she kept saying about same thing, that she's afraid. So I told her, so we have this terms that I taught her, that I said, what is courage? So she knows that, okay, you're afraid, but you do it anyway, right? So it was a couple of years ago when I first started telling that to her was, if you have been following these videos, 2024, she broke her arm, and she broke her arm twice. And second one actually needed a big surgery, and she was afraid. So then I told her, like, okay, what is courage? And then she was like, and then I taught her courage is you're afraid, but you do it anyway. So the dance performance a couple of months ago was really good, and I told her how proud I am of her, and then we did the Korean barbecue after that. It was all amazing. But for this singing event, I didn't know that was happening, and so she was nervous, and she had a little challenging experience. So later that day, I gave her a little card type of thing that I made for her, and I told her, because since she started talking, I taught her two things: believe in yourself and don't give up. Believe in yourself, don't give up. And she knows this by heart. Now, does she always believe it? That's a different story, but she knows it by heart. That I hope some days when she grows up, it helps her, because, the world will tell you that they don't believe you in so many different ways. It may not be the exact words, but they can tell you, oh, you can't do this, someone else can do it better, or whatever. Especially in my own life, I learned this, so many different ways, harder ways. So I'm trying to at least teach her what I learned. So I connect with that story also, because I told her that I connected with this story because when I was about 6 to 8 years old, I don't remember exact age, 6 to 8 years old, I had something going on similar, and I forgot the words, and I was so nervous. I think I left the stage or something. I can't remember. And so in India, I grew up in a small town. We were 6 kids. I'm the youngest, and my dad died when I was about 6. So nobody really pushed me to do public speaking or dancing or whatever. So I always shied away from stages, until like, when was it? 13 years ago now, I joined Toastmasters, and, life has changed. I do public speaking. I even enjoy public speaking, doing public speaking, and I have participated in contests, got awards, whatnot. So going back to my daughter's story and mine, where I connected, is that I think the deeper core of me, where I taught her those two things, that believe in yourself and don't give up, because even in my life, a lot of time when I did not even believe in myself, because, people will tell you these things at school, at workplaces, or even sometimes very personal people, that that it will tell you that personal people, meaning like people from your close family, that they don't believe you and stuff like that. And that can really get you derailed from life. you heard me right, that can really derail you from life, not even just one job or something like that. So I really wanted her to have that ingrained in her life. And I think some of it I learned indirectly from my mom because of the culture or anything in India. It's not a thing that people don't say every day, like, okay, I love you, right? But they show love in different ways. And my mom shows that unconditional love to me in different ways. Like tomorrow morning, Friday morning, I'll be talking to her, and every Friday morning I talk to her maybe 10-15 minutes, sometimes even shorter, because there's a time difference and she goes to bed early. She's older now. And sometimes I even forget some of the language because I speak 3 languages, and my main language I actually forget because simple things like window, there's a window here. So sometimes I forget what window is, or like a book. Well, book we call a book and she would understand. But the point is that but she has this unwavering trust in me, which is that belief that she instilled in me. I had some other, close family who did not believe in me, but I think my mom, I get emotional when I talk about this because I didn't even realize until a lot later in my life how much she trusted me with everything. Because last time when I went to 3 years ago, went to India, I asked her, like, how did you know that I would turn out okay? And I have lived so many years in different places, and just in the United States itself, it's been like 21 years now. And she said, I knew you'd figure it out. You did the right things before, and you would. I'm like, oh my God. So I think some of it comes from like my mom sharing that unconditional love with me. And I'm not perfect. I'm not even close to my mom. I try to show it to my daughter. So going back to this verse, now faith, hope, and love. All of these 3 things are important. Hope is important in life because without hope, you won't continue, right? You will give up. Faith also helps you to keep going because it doesn't have to be God. It could be universe. It could be your higher self, higher power, whatever you resonate with. When you connect with that so strongly that you continue. And the love, without love, nothing exists, right? Love is that gravitational force that will keep you going. So to me, I think that the card that I gave to my daughter at the end of the day, like when I picked her up on Monday and I told her that, I heard this and I'm so proud of you for trying because so many people don't even try. And I told her that I believed in her. And maybe sometimes that is what is love is. So for your kids, the people in your life, love doesn't always mean romantic love. All the people, 8 billion people in this world, there is so many ways you can show love, because love sometimes means compassion. Love sometimes means trusting others. Love sometimes means believing in people that they don't even believe in themselves, right? So because from your belief, your faith, your hope, sometime they will start believing in themselves, because they can borrow your faith, they can borrow your hope, they can borrow your love. It's possible. My first year, if you guys have been watching these videos, if not, I would recommend to watch some of this from 2024, especially if you're going through divorce, separation, those things. I was nowhere close to where I am today with my emotions. And I just continued, I just kept going. And that was the time when, and if you end up reading my book, The Grateful After Goodbye, you will hear the stories. Those are like the real stories. Somebody at the, in front of the library, she gave me a compliment about my shirt. It took 10 seconds, but that created such a big impact in my life, right? So I borrowed that emotion from her. She probably has no idea, right? So those little things can make a huge difference in our lives. So make that happen for someone else if you can, because you never know. When you believe in themselves, when you show them the light at the end of the tunnel and tell them that they can do it too, you have no idea how much further they can go from that hope. Okay, so try that for yourself and try that for your community. And community could be your friend, one friend, could be all the people around you, your family, your friends, your coworkers, because we are all just one community of 8 billion people. It's just, for me, it's not just philosophical. I literally, truly believe that. And that is why you guys see that I talk about authenticity and just live your own life. Because when you live your life like fully, your full authentic version, it is so freeing, my friend. And I did not live like this until like last, even, excuse me, even in the first year of Reinvention, I think I did. But like as time goes by, I do more and more. Part of it is like, we all, for me, of course, I don't look for any external validations anymore. It is all God. I have just one audience up there. And it takes time. It takes time to get over that, because in our life we are conditioned so much to worry about what others are going to think, because not everybody will understand your journey. Like now that I'm doing this startup work, nobody will understand. Even your sometimes closest friends don't understand if they haven't done the startup work, because there is so much work, right? 5 to 10 people's work I'm doing all by myself. And I'm so grateful that some of my friends, new friends, they're helping me. They're volunteering their time. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so grateful. I know I'm deviating from the topic, but that is love too, my friends. That's what I'm talking about. Because when you are trying to help the community, there will be a village full of people who would come to help you, because the soul, from one person's soul to the other, it connects. They see it, that you are trying to make a positive difference. Sorry, I get so emotional about this, because this is the purpose and the calling that I could not imagine even in my wildest dream. It feels so good. It's tears of joy. And I'm not a perfect mom, but we even had little challenges this morning. My daughter was like, she was getting late at school. I'm like, okay, we gotta go. We'll be late. But the point is, my friends, and I'm sure you have those moments too with your kids if you have younger kids. But the inner critic and the inner coach, you do your best. And then for the rest, you have to let it go. You have to let it go, because we beat ourselves up so much more than others would do. So, people who will understand, they will come with you, and people who won't, you just have to let them go with peace, with love and forgiveness, because life is so short. Because I tried to convince so many people, starting from I think for me it was I wouldn't say easy, but when I was going through it, it was very tough. I lost jobs several times when it was like 2008, the recession, and so many other different times. I was like, oh, all my friends, they're continuing with their contracting job. And I was like, because we were all in visas in the early days from India. And then my contract, the jobs would close up. Like one example is Circuit City. The company goes belly up. I'm like, really, God, what's happening? But now I know, looking back, how or why all of those were happening. Because God was preparing me from back then to do this work now. Because if I did not deal with all of this back then, I will not be able to do what I'm doing now, right? Because all the good things, there are also some things that come that I don't talk about much, because this is also in my framework that what you talk about magnifies. So I don't talk about what I don't have to, the things don't bring me joy. If I have to do them, they're in my back burner, I do that. But what I really enjoy and I want to do, I talk about those, and that magnifies and that keeps me happy. So you gotta do that too. So if you like these videos, please consider to share them and come back every Sunday at 10 a.m. and give me a thumbs up. Okay, so YouTube knows that I exist, and subscribe. Take care. Bye.